Today I am speaking about the power of positive thinking and how you can completely transform your life with just this mindset shift. And I am sharing from personal experience because I myself used to be a very pessimistic, negative person, and I used to hold a lot of negative beliefs. I used to only think negative thoughts at one point in my life. And I can tell you that my life was reflecting that to me. I had a very difficult life at that point in time. And so just the idea of positive thinking at the time, I was very skeptical of it. I thought, really, what difference does it make? My thoughts are irrelevant. It's just in my head. It doesn't have an impact on my life. And so at that point in time, I had no idea what it would look like once I actually started thinking positively. But I can promise you, just that decision to be more aware of my thoughts, to be more mindful of the thoughts that I'm thinking, and to select my thoughts a lot more carefully and to choose positive thoughts rather than negative thoughts, that one decision honestly completely transformed my life in ways I could have never predicted, and it had a ripple effect on everything, every area in my life. So I'm sure at this point you have heard the phrase, thoughts become things. And with this, it's a really powerful concept because it really highlights the impact that our thoughts have on our lives. And, the way that we think and our perception of our reality, it does have an impact on our lives, and it affects our experiences, it affects our outcomes, it affects the results that we see in our lives. So this is why the power of positive thinking is so important, and it's so powerful, and it's empowering to be able to use these tools. So positive thinking is really just the act of focusing on the good in any situation. So choosing to see the silver lining, believing in the best possible outcome of any situation. So positive thinking, it's not about being in denial. It's not about ignoring the difficult parts of your life or ignoring reality in general. It's more about approaching the challenges in your life and any obstacles that you can see in your life with a hopeful and a more optimistic mindset. So believing that you can get through it, choosing to focus on the positive aspects of your life, and reframing those negative thoughts in a way, trying to see the opportunity in it, trying to see what it can teach you, what you can learn from it, and really just evolving your perspective around the negative situation. And so this is super, super, super powerful. This idea of reframing. You take the situation that you perceive to be negative and you change your perception of it. You try to see it from a different perspective. So reframing is a separate topic with a separate video. And I just want to go through some potential positive benefits that you can get from thinking more positively and from making this mindset shift. And there are numerous benefits that are very, very well documented. So if you do want to do more research, I definitely encourage you to do that. But the first one here is improved mental and physical health. So it goes without saying, that the thoughts that you think will have an impact on your mental health. And if you've ever struggled with depression or anxiety, you'll understand what I'm saying when I say this, because when you are in that very low place, the thoughts that you are having, they kind of correlate with that. And they tend to be very negative. They tend to be thoughts that are rooted in, negative self-talk. So beating yourself up, putting yourself down, telling yourself you can't do this, or that things aren't working out, or that things are very difficult and that it won't get better. And if you have anxiety or thoughts around panic, then you also understand that those thoughts can be very, very difficult to deal with, believing, you know, that because your heart is beating so fast that you're about to die, you're about to have a heart attack. And when you're in that space, it's very, very difficult to get out of it if you don't know how to manage that, if you don't know how to ease your nervous system, if you don't know how to change the way that you're thinking, it can be very difficult to get out of that space. And so many mental health interventions focus on this process of becoming aware of your thoughts, questioning those thoughts. Is it really true? Are these beliefs that I have really true? And then kind of, you know, working through that process in therapy. And so with improved physical health, I don't know if you know about the placebo effect, but I can give an example of the nocebo effect. So the nocebo effect is basically the opposite. So the placebo effect is this idea that, you know, a patient can heal themselves just by thinking that they are being healed, even if the medication they are given isn't the real medication. So you can also do your research on this. It's quite a fascinating topic. But the nocebo effect is basically the opposite of that. So this is when a patient believes that they are ill or that they are dying, you know, and they've shown where a doctor gave the wrong diagnosis or to the wrong person. That person, because they believed it, because the doctor is obviously a person of authority, they believed what the doctor said, so they believed that they were going to die. And so with just that belief, their body creates a disease and they ended up dying. And only later did they find out that that doctor had actually misdiagnosed them and that they weren't actually sick or dying, but because they believed that they were and they were thinking the thought, they ended up developing that disease and dying. Okay, so the first benefit here is improved mental and physical health. So thinking more positive thoughts, changing your mindset, shifting your mindset can help you improve your mental and your physical health. And it also increases, I suppose, just the quality of your life as well and the way that you view the world. And so you end up with a better mood, you end up, you know, maybe taking action on things that you've been meaning to do. And then that just kind of has a ripple effect on the rest of your life. So that also then has the benefit of increasing your life satisfaction and your happiness and your success in your life. Positive thinking also helps to boost your resilience and your emotional well-being. So again, when you are in a difficult spot and your thoughts are very negative, then it kind of just adds to that stress and adds to that pressure. So when I have found myself in stressful situations, I try to avoid that negative downward spiral, and instead I tell myself positive and uplifting thoughts, and that does actually help. You know, it helps to remind yourself of all the difficult things that you've gotten through before this point, to remind yourself how strong you are, how capable you are of getting through difficult times. And of course, also leaning on your support system, you know, if they are positive, if they are just going to drag you down, then that's not really a support system. But again, boosting that resilience, knowing that you can get out of the situation, that things will get better, hard times don't last, and yeah, just kind of getting up after you've been beat down. Positive thinking is an essential part of that process. Positive thinking also helps you improve your relationships and your social connections. So I want you to think about your friends and your family, and think about the people who are always negative, always complaining. Do you want to be around those people? Do you want to be around people who are negative, who put you down, who constantly criticize you? Or do you want to be around people who are positive, encouraging, and uplifting? Right? So if you are the type of person that embodies positive thinking and that embodies just positive energy in general, you are more likely to also be more positive in your interactions with others. And so you yourself will be someone who is positive, uplifting, and encouraging. You yourself will not be the type of person to complain or to put people down or to constantly criticize them, because your thoughts are positive. Another amazing benefit is your increased self-esteem and self-confidence, Because again, if you are thinking positively, then you have that ability to think positively about yourself and about your life circumstances and about your ability to achieve things. And with that positive thinking, you also radiate that confidence out, and that makes it more likely that you'll actually succeed at whatever it is that you're doing. And so again, that ripple effect just kind of keeps on going. And again, I mean, it's your overall well-being, your overall quality of life that will improve just with a mindset shift, just with thinking more positively and being more selective with your thoughts. So the moment you become aware of a negative thought or a negative belief, that moment there of awareness is when you get to choose. And this does take practice, especially if all of your thoughts right now are negative. This will take a little bit of practice to become aware of all of the times that you are thinking negatively. But once you get the hang of it, it does become second nature, and then you do become aware immediately when a negative thought pops up or when a negative belief pops up, and then you can just course correct and fix that. So how can we then cultivate a positive mindset and really use that power of positive thinking? The first thing I would definitely recommend is start practicing gratitude. So each day, just take 5 minutes out of your day, whether that's in the morning or at night, just to reflect on a few things that you're grateful for. It can be anything. It can be the fact that you woke up this morning. It can be gratitude for your cup of coffee, gratitude for the sunshine, gratitude for your family or your partner or your children. Anything, just this simple practice of thinking of things that you're grateful for will immediately shift you out of that negative space and into a more positive and optimistic space, because you're thinking in terms of gratitude. So you're not thinking of what's wrong, you're not thinking of what's missing, you're not thinking of your problems, you're thinking of what you are grateful for, and that immediately shifts you. And again, surrounding yourself with positive people. So getting those relationships, seeking out friends, or just people in general, peers, co-workers, anyone, people who bring positivity and joy into your life. So again, choosing to surround yourself with supportive, uplifting, encouraging people, and rather just avoiding those people who complain, will help you to reduce your stress, and it will help you to just cultivate a more positive outlook on life, because that energy rubs off on you. And so if the people around you are negative, you inevitably will be negative as well. And if they are positive, you will be positive, and vice versa. And then again, going back to reframing negative thoughts. So when that negative thought pops up into your mind, challenge the thought. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me? Is it contributing to my happiness? Is it stressing me out? Is this thought helping me or hurting me? And once you've made that distinction, when you realize that that thought is not serving you, then you can replace that thought with a more positive thought, right? So maybe let me think. What is a negative thought? Negative thought could be, I suck at public speaking. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do my speech tomorrow. I'm freaking out. Instead, you could say, okay, I still have time to prepare. And so I'm going to go over my notes and I'm going to prepare myself, and I'm really excited to get better at this. And so just by, turning that nervousness into excitement and understanding that, it might be a challenge, it might be an opportunity for growth, but you don't have to look at it through the negative lens. You don't have to put yourself down in that process. Instead of saying, I suck at this, say, I'm learning, I'm getting better. And with each time I practice, with each time I do a speech, each time I do a presentation, I'm improving at this. I'm building on that skill, and so it just takes practice. Do you see how just that simple thought will change that experience for you? And then you won't go into it believing that you suck. You'll be going into it believing that each time you practice, you're getting better. Each time you practice, you're improving. And that's a much better perspective to look at things through. The next thing here is to focus on the solution. So instead of dwelling on the problem, you know, and how difficult it is, how tough it is, how incompetent you are. Focus on the solution. Focus on what you can do to be proactive. What is the proactive approach that will help you maintain that positive outlook even when you're in the midst of a challenge? And it's usually in those challenging, difficult times that we struggle to stay positive, but that's when we need it the most. It's when we're in those difficult times, in those difficult seasons. It's your thinking that can really sabotage you further in those situations, or it can help you to get through it. So keep that in mind. And then, of course, engaging in self-care. So looking after yourself physically, making sure that you're eating well, moving your body, sleeping enough, and also, you know, your mental and emotional health. That will help you to boost your mood and increase your positivity, because then you know, okay, I'm taking care of myself, I'm doing the best I can, you know, and by investing in self-care, you do naturally feel better, and so it's easier to have a positive outlook. And then the last one, practicing mindfulness. So mindfulness is that practice of being in the present moment without judgment of your circumstances or yourself, and then focusing your thoughts and your feelings on, you know, the more positive. So by being mindful, you become aware of your thoughts, you become aware of whether they are helping you or hurting you, and you can also just become aware of your thoughts without really giving them any meaning or without diving into them. So you can observe your thoughts and your feelings without judgment. And by doing that, you also help to calm your mind down a bit, because, you know, if you are an overthinker, you'll know that the struggle is very real when you are in that place. And so practicing mindfulness, meditation, teaches you to calm the mind down and to just observe the thought and not get wrapped up in it and not be impulsive or take action on every single thought. You can learn to just observe it, and then that's the end. So at this point, you've got a lot of different ideas about positive thinking, and the benefits are definitely undeniable at this point. So it's all about just making that conscious effort to become aware of your thoughts and to cultivate that positive mindset. And this can honestly transform your life completely. You'll experience more happiness, you'll experience that real freedom, you know, from those negative states. And that's not to say you should never feel negative emotions, but I do believe that you can heal from something like chronic anxiety, chronic depression. And, you know, there's different ways to do this. And I'm not saying that positive thinking is the way to heal those things, but it definitely makes a difference. And it has made a massive difference for me. And it's improved my well-being. It's helped me achieve success in different areas of my life. So just choosing to focus on the good, choosing to be grateful for what you have, you know, while you work towards the next thing, it makes a huge difference. Believing in the best possible outcome, and then really just letting that momentum build will honestly change your life. And so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.